Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. Hold on tight. You're in for one crazy, epically cool, amazing ride tonight on the Josh Nolan and Oliver Schultz Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube. Tonight we have with us the one and the only Kylie Glick, the racing superstar.
Hi.
So, Kylie, let's talk about your racing career. Where did this awesome racing career begin for you?
When I was 8, my brother was always at the go-kart track during COVID time, and I always had to go out there with him, and I was like, you know what? Like, I want to try this. And I got in the car, and I've never looked back.
Okay, so what was the first experience like for you when you climbed in a race car, Kylie?
Um, it was pretty cool. I was very scared though. The first race wasn't that good. I took 2 big crashes in the heat and the main back to back. And that's where like my first race was. So it was a little difficult. I had like a little bump, but then my dad kept pushing me, and then I got back out there, and it all clicked.
Okay, so Kylie, um, when you started racing and you got going, how long before you started winning like features and stuff like that?
Um, in the rookie series, there's not a lot of cars back here, but I got my first win. I got a second finish place in like the Monza series, which is like a pretty big series back here. You run 6 tracks, and then you get points, and there's like a bunch of cars that come to all these races. And I got in second, which was one of my biggest accomplishments at the time because I was racing about, I'd say, like 10 cars, and I finished second, and that was definitely a confident booster, I guess you could say. And I guess that all like basically that's where I started like, I love this, like, and it started being like, oh, I can do this. And so we moved up to classes to like the more competitive ones. And I started winning those too. And we started going to nationals, and I was doing really good at nationals. We finished second at Winter Nationals in Vegas against, I would say, like 30 other competitors, I guess. And yeah.
So Kylie, when you got into that race car and you started winning and stuff like that, what was the feeling like when you climbed it when you got into victory lane?
I felt on top of the world. Whenever you get a win, it does feel better to get wins against bigger cars, but it's always confident boosters. Like after you have a bad race and then you go out and win a race, it's like, this is why I do this. And like, it's, it's a reassuring feeling.
Okay, so Kylie, what is your 5-year plan with the racing going forward?
Let's help my mom. I hope in 5 years to make it to the ARCA series, maybe even starting the truck series, but hopefully to make it to ARCA.
Okay, and what's your 10-year plan with the racing, Kylie?
I hope to make it to the Cup series. That would be such a dream come true.
Okay, so Kylie, uh, so what is the story behind your race car number? Where did that awesome race car number come from?
So I'm the 4th generation of race car drivers in my family, and my great uncle, his number was 75, and my grandpa's number, his brother, was 76. And when my brother started racing, he started racing before me, so he took the my grandpa's number, which is 76. And I've always liked, in soccer, I always had a 7 in my number. That was just like my good luck number. And so we just flipped my brother's number, and it became 67, and which also makes my birthday because I'm born on June 7th, which is pretty cool. And so ever since I started racing, I've been number 67.
So you're the number 67.
Yes.
So Kylie, okay, your aspirations about getting to ARCA and to NASCAR, would you ever consider getting into an IndyCar at all and going IndyCar racing?
Um, I would, if, because all my long term goal is to always be in racing. I would jump into anything if I could. If you offered to put me in a micro, I would drive it. I would drive anything. I just love being behind the wheel.
Okay, so Kylie, okay, who do you have for sponsors on your race car now?
Currently, Caliber Collision and Tognotti's Auto World.
Okay, so you're still looking for sponsors for your racing team, Kylie.
Yes.
So if there's anybody going to be out here watching this racing show with me and superstar Kylie Glick, reach out to Kylie and her racing team because she'd appreciate the sponsorship on her race car as we get further into a racing career.
Yeah. That would
So,
help so much.
so Kylie, who helps work on your race car?
I am on Mike Nick Heller's team, motorsports team, and they help me be successful in racing with giving us a great setup, a great car, and teaching me all the basics and getting me better. I I couldn't ask for a better team.
So Kylie, when you're out there on the racetrack, getting ready to go on the racetrack, and you're getting ready to start that car up, what helps get you focused and mentally ready to go?
Before every race, I once I get my helmet on and I'm in the car waiting and staging, I take two very large deep breaths, and that calms my nerves a lot and helps me like focus. And I don't that gets me very like, okay, it's time to go. Let's go racing and let's do this.
Okay, so Kylie, when you're at the racetrack, and you're getting hungry, what's your favorite thing to eat at the racetrack?
Ooh, I definitely like grab and go stuff. Like my favorite lunch would definitely be like a cold turkey sandwich. Because after you're in the car all day, you're all hot and sweaty and have your suit on, you're like, I just want something cold. So either watermelon or a cold turkey sandwich.
Very cool, very cool. So Kylie, when you're away from the racetrack, what's your favorite thing? Where's your favorite restaurant?
Um, there is a um little homegrown business. It's from my family. One of my family used to own it, but they sold it. But it's called Nubbins, and they make the best burgers.
Very cool. So when you're at home, Kylie, what's your favorite home cooked meal that your family makes for you?
I would say probably my dad's steak is super good.
Okay, very cool, very cool, very cool. So Kylie, do you have a racing nickname?
No, not yet. We still need to make one.
Okay, okay. Yeah, definitely. We got to work on getting you one there because it's all about the racing nickname too, you know. So
Yeah.
Kylie, so Kylie, I'm gonna so what's it like to race your car out there on the racetrack?
It's definitely a very cool experience. Coming from quarter midgets, it's definitely humbling, but because these cars have clutches and you have to think about like the gas and brake, and then you have to handle like the clutch and the air, like the brake fans, the motor fans, all these things. And in quarter midgets, all you gotta do is press the gas and brake and just go in circles. And it's definitely a humbling experience, but once you're on the track in the car, you don't realize how fast you're going. It's all in like slow motion until you crash or anything like that. So
So Kylie, okay. So Kylie, what is your home racetrack you race on?
my home track would probably be All American Speedway. It's pretty close, but you can mostly find us at Madera Speedway this season.
So how many victories do you have racked up, Kylie, in racing?
So far, only in the late models. I think I've only raced 5 races, and my biggest um podium finish is a second place in the late models, but I have so many wins in the quarter midgets. But yeah.
So Kylie, Uh, so what's the worst thing you've had happen to you as a race car driver?
Not a lot of things really happen. I mean, in the quarter midgets, they're pretty safe, but I did have this one pretty cool wreck. I We were coming to the green and I was starting, I'm pretty sure on either pole or second, and coming to the green, the person that was beside me was like scrubbing tires, and then we went to go green and he hit my front tire and I like flipped, but another car hit me and I went back the other way and I landed on top of the wall.
Wow, wow. Did you get hurt at all?
No, those cars also have like a lot of safety gear, so I
Okay,
had
okay.
maybe a bruise, but it wasn't bad.
So Kylie, who do you have for friends at the racetrack?
Definitely a bunch of my pit crew guys. They're pretty funny to hang out with. Um, I There's not a lot of girls out at the racetrack. I haven't been into the late models too long to make too many friends, but we have I hang out with just a bunch of my pit crew guys and like a few of their friends, I guess you say, but nothing too big yet.
So Kylie, what does your school friends think of you being a race car driver?
They are so supportive. All my friends, they think it's so cool. They don't believe me though. They're like, "Oh, you're 13. There's no way you could drive. Like, you don't even have your license. Like, that's crazy." But they're super supportive and just super cool.
So Kylie,
Along,
did I ask you who you have on your pit crew? Didn't I ask you that or not?
yeah, you did.
Okay, so Kylie, um, what do you like to do for excitement away from the racetrack?
I definitely go to the gym a lot to just train and get stronger because these cars take a lot of strength to be able to go 70 laps of racing plus the cautions and all these things. It takes a lot of strength. And so, me and my good friend, we always go to the gym and work out, and it's always fun. And we're super competitive about who can lift more and all this stuff. So, I definitely like going to the gym.
So Kylie, I'm going to okay, before I turn the mic over to you, do you have any advice for the kids coming up in the racing world?
Yes. So, you definitely have to be nice to everybody. You don't know what they can do for you, and never give up in a race because things can happen in split seconds. You don't know what's going to happen, and so keep pushing through the race. And even if you are in behind and not where you want to be, you can try different lines and just try to work stuff out and try to almost run the person in front of you line and get better. And all races are just, no matter if you win or lose, there's no such thing as losing. You're just getting better and practicing and getting better on the track. So
So Kylie, I'm going to turn the mic before I do that. Okay, one last question. Who is your racing hero?
I definitely look up to Haley Dean a lot. She's definitely my biggest mentor. She started on the team that I started on, which is super cool, and I'm hoping to make it into the Cup Series, and hopefully, because she was definitely super big into the late models and the ARCA cars, and she has a good amount of wins in them. So
Okay,
definitely look up to her.
so Kylie, I'm going to turn the mic over to you right now. You can ask me some questions now. So, are you ready for that portion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How long have you been into racing?
I have been into racing as far as watching it as a sport and dreaming about working in racing. I've been doing that since I am 43 years old now. I've been doing it for about 30 years.
Dang. So about 13 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What got you into racing?
Just the excitement of watching it on TV and the 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 pressure from my mom and dad saying you need to do something that you're passionate about and you need to pursue it like heavily, big time. And I just kept saying, whatever, you know. Well, then, you know, they kept saying, you know, come on, do it. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. Well, then all at once a friend of mine popped up and says, yeah, let's do this. And I was like, okay, whatever. So we did it and it just took off.
Yeah. Um, let's see. What got you into starting this podcast?
Just a friend of mine's advice saying, you know, you got all these race car drivers on your Facebook page, do something with it. And I was like, okay, so, you know, I've never been on a camera a day in my life. Let's give it a shot. Well, we started out with 38 viewers. And about 2 years later, we had over 2,000 some viewers throughout the USA and Canada, which is pretty insane.
That is super big growth. That is very impressive.
And then we moved over to YouTube and we're starting to grow more. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um, what is the best race you've been to?
I would say the 1998 and 1999 Knoxville Nationals, the 99 Knoxville Nationals. I took that whole 4 days in and I was just like, oh my God, this is just like, yes. And I was there for Mark Kinzer's win when he drove the 5M Mopar car back in 1999. So I was there for that.
That's pretty cool. What is your favorite form of racing?
I like sprint cars. I like anything on dirt. I like NASCAR. I like late models. I like Indy cars, Formula One, drag racing,
Yay.
and go. I love all sorts of racing.
Have you ever gone behind the wheel yourself?
I actually got behind the wheel of a go-kart at an amusement park. I'll tell you what, Kylie, this is kind of crazy. The guy that was working at the amusement park, he kept saying to me, you need to get your season pass to the amusement park, at least to the go-kart track. And I was like, yeah, dude, whatever. You know, me and you are friends, you know. Yeah, whatever. You know, really, you want me to do this? He's like, yeah, definitely. Because he said, I need a test driver. I was like, test driver for what? He said, I'm the mechanic here. So I need somebody to go out and test these cars, you know, after I get them fixed. And I was like, you seriously want me to do this? And he's like, yeah. So after a few times of him pressuring me, I finally went and did it. Well, then we get to the go-kart track and he's like, I've got your cart already picked out for you. It's already set out to the side. And I was like, okay. He's like, just jump in it, get your seatbelt in and go. And I was like, okay, what'd you do? He's like, just don't ask, just go. So I get behind the wheel and I was like, obviously there's no throttle stopping here. There's something going on. So I'm just flying around that track and I come in the pits and after that session and I said to him, I says, what did you do? And he says, well, I fixed the motor on it. But he says, you know, whenever you're going to test the cart, he says, I'm going to take the governors out. So he says, that way you can just go full throttle at it.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And all these,
Um,
and the crazy thing is this, Kylie, all these little kids come up to me and saying, how come your cart's faster than ours? And I was like, go talk to the mechanic. I'm not a part of this conversation.
yeah. Go-karts are super fun and they're super helpful with getting seat time for late models because you can't go out to the late model track every week and test your car, but
Yeah.
go-karts definitely get you into shape and that upper body strength and because you have to turn, there's lots of turns and so a lot of
Oh,
upper body strength.
yes, yes, yes. So
Mhm.
do you have any more questions for me, Kylie?
No.
Okay. So Kylie, do you have a racing page that racing fans can follow you on?
Yes, if you go to KylieGlickRacing.com, it'll pull up all my social medias and links and YouTube videos and all the good stuff.
Okay, so go to what page now, Kylie?
KylieGlickRacing.com.
Go to KylieGlickRacing.com, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll find out a lot of super awesome info about Kylie Glick and her racing career out there. So, Kylie, thank you very much for being on the racing show with me tonight, talking to us about your racing career, getting to know you a little bit better. I will let you step out, Kylie. I'll give a little racing news update, and I will call you in just a little bit to thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't know how to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Kylie Glick, late model driver. Definitely go get a hold of Kylie Glick on her KylieGlick.com, because you'll find out a lot about interesting information about her. Good luck to Kylie Glick and her racing team in the 76 late model team. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, so yeah, so definitely go hit that up. I would like to thank my sponsors, Dirt Track Race Cars and Company. Go hit them up. They've got some really awesome looking 164 scale cars out now. They've got the 8D of Doug Wolfgang in 164 scale, the car you won the 1989 Knoxville Nationals in. They've got the 29 Weikert Livestock car that was driven by Doug Wolfgang in 1985 when he won Knoxville Nationals behind the wheel. That car also in 164 scale. They also have the 8 car he drove in 1990, which is the bright orange car in 164 scale. Then they have the 47 car of Danny the Dude Lasowski. That was the number 47 car that was driven by Danny the Dude Lasowski and Casey's General Store, owned by Gil Sonner in 164 scale that he drove in 1994. And then also they have the one Nance sprint car that Sammy Swindell drove back in 1982. Definitely, ladies and gentlemen. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank and go hit up dirttrackracecars.com for all those racing diecasts. But I would like to thank my sponsors, Dirt Track Race Cars and Company, New England Hemophilia Association, Manning Motorsports. If you would like to sponsor my racing show, feel free to email me at jjnolan. If you would like to sponsor my racing show or be on my racing show, feel free to email me at jjnolan151@gmail.com, or you can call or text me at 712-209-7138. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Catch you later on another episode of the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube.